there is a world where the ref is positioned in such a way that she doesn't see Silcock making that back pass because it kind of hits her foot, kind of. It's
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah,
like
yeah.
a very light touch, but she sees it, and she is like she sees it, and she's just like,
Ain't
okay, keep
nothing wrong
playing, let's
there.
go.
No.
Yeah, nah, nah, nah.
Hello and welcome. You're watching All About the W, your weekly deep dive into the WSL, stats, stories, and standard performances. Let's break it all down. I'm Ash, and as always, I'm joined by Kai. This is all about the match day where we review all the fixtures from the WSL weekend. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you are a regular, don't forget to hit that like button and comment below. Kai, how you been? How did the weekend look for you? I'm assuming
Uh,
not good.
I mean, not obviously not a good weekend to be a Chelsea fan. Men, women, children, not I don't know about children. Actually, I don't know about how the youth groups have done, but the men and the women definitely disappointed. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good weekend. It's yeah, we'll talk a bit about it more, but yeah, I've had a good few days, I'd say,
Yeah,
despite no thanks to my football club, I'll say that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Definitely one of those weekends to forget. Um, if you look at the points table, clearly, City have gotten now a 6 point lead on Chelsea, and Spurs are level with Arsenal. So interesting things are happening with that points table. Very, very, very interesting things. Let's
Yeah.
should we discuss our first game, the one that we everybody wants to talk about, which is Chelsea versus
Everyone except
Everton.
me, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone wants to hear how you feel about it, Kai. Chelsea versus Everton, which ended 0-1 to Everton. Hayashi scored in the 11th minute, and that's all she wrote. Kai, how did you feel about this game?
Yeah, I mean, the overall sentiment is that it has been coming for quite some time now.
Yeah,
Honestly, sometimes I feel surprised that it took this long for us to lose a match
yeah,
because the performances for quite some time has been pretty dreadful,
yeah,
which also meant that I wasn't too upset by it.
yeah,
Um, like we did a live, and I was thinking back to the live and how kind of like just a little annoyed I was. Sometimes, when your team loses, it just ruins your day, your
yeah,
week, all of that happens, right?
yeah,
But I was just like, I'm very like, very like, I can't be asked,
yeah,
but yeah, probably because we've been like mentally been preparing for this for a bit because of the performances.
yeah.
Yeah, those are the feelings.
So, what did you make of Everton? Like, Everton obviously don't have their first choice defense. I would say Ruby Mace is there, stuck in centre back. How like, but I reckon they did a pretty good job. How did you? And Courtney Brosnan is back. What did you make of Everton?
Yeah, I feel like Everton, obviously another team that has had to deal with quite a few injuries. I mean, you come to this part of the season, you do feel like, you know, um, every team has injuries, but with Everton, yeah, they've had some key injuries in key places, and the fact that Courtney Brosnan is back for them is a big win.
Yeah,
But on paper, with the team that they had, I thought they were very good. Like, I kind of don't want the narrative of this game to be Chelsea were bad
yeah,
and so Chelsea lost. I also think we have to give Everton their flowers because I thought they defended the box really well. Brosnan was, I mean, she was absolutely amazing. She absolutely kept them in the game. I can think of like three or four really difficult saves
yeah,
that she had to make. And yeah, I mean, they had a game plan. They executed it well. Uh, if you've been watching Chelsea in the last few months, I would say, um, what you can identify is Chelsea's weakness in attack, especially when we're dealing with teams that are sitting a bit deeper. And they saw that, they game planned for that, and they took advantage of that as well. I think the only Chelsea player who managed to cause any kind of discomfort or confusion for Everton in the box was probably Sam Kerr. And obviously she came on in what 50 in the 55th minute, but she was also largely like absent, I would say. Ruby Mace, you already gave her a shout out. Probably had one of her best performances of the season. I can't really remember who made that goal line clearance. I mean, we had a bit of a discussion whether it went over the line or not. But there were two players who were there. I can't quite remember who those two players were. But yeah, I mean, that's, when you go onto the pitch and you've decided that, hey, this is going to be largely a defensive performance for us. Uh, you also mentally prepare to put your body on the line, and I felt that Everton did that from minute one. It was just a monumental defensive performance, right? Like, I was looking at like the numbers. They had 13 interceptions, 8 blocks, 85 clearances. That is just, I mean, in the match against Man City, Leicester had 58 clearances, and I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I saw that Everton had 85 clearances, and obviously they Brosnan made like 6 saves. Yeah, I mean, honestly, 3 points, that's well deserved. Even when we look back at their goal, we've seen that happen so many times, right? Like, Payne carries the ball forward, cuts back. I think it was Bronze who was. I can't remember who put off Gago enough to sort of not finish it, but then Hayashi makes that run, right? The fact that, I think you said this when we were watching the match live, you said, like, credit to Hayashi for making that run,
Yeah.
because you know um, yeah, that's just what you need. You need your midfielders to crash the box, in case, like, goalkeeper makes a bad parry or the clearance is not good. So all around, I think really good 3 points for Everton. And I mean, it's crazy that it's their first league win
Yeah.
since that opening day derby against Liverpool. I mean, you can imagine how, like, I mean, you saw the celebrations after, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many different reasons why those celebrations were as intense. I think like, Everton have not beaten Chelsea since 2013 or something in the league.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, there are so many reasons why they had to celebrate, but also just the fact that they finally got a win after this drought of just losses and draws. Yeah, big congratulations to Everton.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I there were these murmurings of discontent I feel online against Sorensen as well. Like because there had been a lot of investment in the summer and they'd gotten a few really good players in, and so and he had a lot of like parts to work with, and so everyone kind of was expecting Everton to kick on from there. And like you said, this was their first victory after the Liverpool game, and so I was just I feel like this came at the right time for Everton, just so that like, because I have an immense amount of respect for Sorensen, and I don't think he is anywhere near getting fired for his job. So I'm glad that Everton won this for that reason as well.
Yeah. You know what? The funny thing is, the last two times Everton have played Chelsea at Kings Meadow, I feel like Everton have felt hard done by,
Yeah.
because 2 years ago, what happened was, I think it was Heaslip who was the ref in that game as
Of
well,
course it
and there
was.
were two very suspicious penalties. Okay,
Yeah.
one of which was a penalty, the other was a bit sus, but I mean, obviously Everton, I think, felt very hard done by in that moment. Even last season, LJ scores the winner, like a very late winner. I think it came in the 92nd, 93rd minute, and. Uh, like, Everton claimed that there was a foul on the build up on Marin Mielda in that game, and they were very upset. Like, I remember Brosnan just like shouting at the ref for because I think Everton were. I mean, you have to play to the whistle, but also they felt like it was a foul. So, like, which means in the last two times Chelsea have hosted Everton, we've had like a tough time with it. So yeah, I mean, credit to them.
Yeah, absolutely credit to them. But uh, coming to Chelsea, I was watching this Talk Sport thing, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody on Talk Sport went unexpected result. Uh, r- Everyone was really surprised to see Chelsea lose, and I'm like, what universe are you living in?
Yeah,
Because I'm not saying like obviously this first 11 was different from the first 11 that started against Barca. Cuthbert is out and all of that. But at the end of the day, you are defending champions. You have a lot of bench strength, perhaps the strongest bench in the league. Maybe maybe Arsenal and City are equivalent, but one of the strongest benches for sure. But I would say the strongest. So
yeah, 100% strongest.
you
Like
know
Arsenal and City. City maybe, but Arsenal no.
Yeah. So, like, I don't think it's an excuse that, oh, Cuthbert was out or whatever else, like you want to say. Do you think there were mistakes made in terms of the starting lineup?
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, you concede a goal the way you do, you already sort of set yourself back a little bit. I just want to break down that goal, right? It's like Everton win the first ball, right? Aerially, they win the second ball. Like everyone, apart from Kira Walsh, is probably just like ball watching, and then they sort of push on, and then Sandy Baltimore is basically pushed very high up, which is always a danger, right? Especially you're playing a high line. You have a team that's probably one of the best teams in transition in the WSL, I would say,
Yeah.
with Tony Payne and Kelly Gago.
Yeah.
And then Baltimore is out of position. So Germa is sort of caught in two minds, right? Whether she should
Yeah.
stop the cross, she should close Payne down, or if she should defend the space. Uh, does neither
Yeah.
properly. And then Carpenter, Carpenter absolutely should have done better. I
Yeah.
feel like everybody else were sort of reacting very quickly to what was in the moment. But I feel like Carpenter is the only player in the Chelsea backline who had the time to
Yeah.
sort of compose herself a little bit. And she had no idea where Hayashi was.
Yeah.
Like, it was an absolute clusterfuck, like, could have been avoided. So, but that said, it happens.
Yeah.
Goals happen on transition. That's just how it is. You play a high line, you're always risking that.
Yeah.
Um, Coming to what you said about the lineup, I think the biggest question I have um, for Sonia, and also like generally the thing that I'm wondering about the most is when you tinker with your lineup so much, it's not that you are every week replacing a like for like player in the same system.
Yeah.
Um, you are just tinkering with it in every possible way.
Yeah.
You think tinkering with it in terms of formation. We have seen like five different formations from Sonia. Like we've seen like if we've seen a back five, we've seen a back three, we've seen a back four, we've seen this 4-1-4-1, the single pivot with like two tens that we saw yesterday. So like we've seen so many different formations and uh like personnel from Sonia. What makes me wonder the most is when you have something like that happening, do your players know their roles clearly? You might be communicating it well enough, but do they understand it? Because in this match, you basically have three players who were playing as tens. Like you have Micah Hamano, who Sonia sees predominantly as a 10. You have Kat Macario. And then you also have Lauren James, who, I mean, is supposedly like she's playing out wide, but she spent most of her time deep in the midfield for the 55 minutes she was on the pitch. So, like, you have all these different players who are dropping in. And my first question is whether they know their
Yeah.
roles. Because half the time, players are asking each other, where should I pass the ball? You see nobody in the box. Like you have Macario, Micah, as well as Lauren James, who are all dropping deep. And then there's no box present. When you are playing a team that's sat a bit deeper, I understand like you need players to drop in to pick up the ball. You want to force some kind of error in those ways, that I understand. But the problem for me is, you also, another way to force an error in these situations is good movement inside the box.
Right.
And there is nobody who was doing that. I think that was a biggest failure in that game, for me. And the thing about LJ is, in that game she was dropping deep, she was roaming with the ball. Great, it was nice to see her dribble, you know like show a little bit of like what she's capable of. Obviously she's coming back from injury, but my question is, did you really need LJ to do that? Because Everton were not putting any pressure on the ball. Like obviously, like when LJ was dribbling, there were a couple of players who were trying to get the ball off her feet, but the kind of pressure Everton were trying to put on the ball, any one of Macario, Hamano, or Walsh could have dealt with.
Yeah.
So do you need somebody like you? What you want LJ to do is to be in a position a bit deeper, to like receive the ball and then drive forward. That's what
Yeah.
you need. Or alternatively, and I feel like people don't give enough credit for LJ to LJ's ability to cross the ball, because we saw the only person who was trying to cross the ball was Baltimore. Baltimore, like I mean, the wasted corners, the crossing wasn't great. The defensive error, whatever, like everything, not the best game for her, in my opinion. But like in a lot of positions, like Baltimore was in. I feel like if LJ was there, she would have put in better crosses.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so I feel like,
and like honestly, one another thing is, like there were other people in the midfield who could have done what LJ was doing. I felt honestly, I felt like when Nuskin was on, she was better at it, and she is not even known for like her attacking plays, particularly.
yeah, no, Nuskin. I mean, honestly, so see, that's the thing, right? When we say, it's easy to look at this lineup and say, oh, Everton did nothing.
Yeah,
Like they literally went forward with the ball twice,
yeah,
of which once they scored. Fair enough. And therefore, you don't need a balanced midfield,
yeah,
right? You can say, oh, so therefore she set them up right in that you had like more attacking players.
yeah,
But the issue is, a balanced midfield is not just to go up against the other team's midfield. A balanced midfield is also in terms of how you progress the ball, how
yeah,
you, even if it is just from the edge of the box.
yeah,
Like somebody like Nuskin, just causing like a quick turnover. There was this one moment where she did a slight tackle. It kind of fell to, I don't know, Kerr's feet, and she made a pass to captain. Something like that happened, and I feel like that's why you need to have somebody like a Nuskin or a Cuthbert. It's not just to give you defensive cover.
yeah,
It is also, um, as a unit, like every player has certain skills, and you need to recognize that. You can't just put like six attackers on the pitch and be like, oh, we'll score 8 goals.
yeah.
That's not how football works.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've been at this game for a while, so it is time to move on. Even though there is a lot more to say about this game, unless you want an hour-long episode. Leicester versus Man City ended 0-3 to Man City, and Shaw scored in 74th minute and in the 83rd minute with a brace. Carolyn scored in the 90 plus 4th minute, but Leicester 74 minutes of holding off Man City. That
Yeah.
has to be considered commendable.
Yeah, I think, I actually thought this match was a very tough one for Manchester City.
Yeah,
In fact, I almost felt like this is going to be a successful, sort of a hate watch.
yeah,
I felt like, uh, in the first 10 minutes, what happened was Man City just came flying out, right? And they could have scored one or two goals in the first 10, 15 minutes, I would say. But once Leicester were a bit settled, um, I don't think they looked out of sorts at all, except in defending aerial balls against Panisha, which I honestly can't think of too many defenders who can handle that. I personally feel like probably Millie Bright is the only like centre back who can deal with Bunny Shaw in the air. Um, and with Leicester, lucky for them, Bunny Shaw couldn't. could not get a header on target. Like she absolutely, like honestly, it felt like one of those days because in the Chelsea game, I felt like there was a force field around the goal.
Yeah.
That it just wasn't gonna go in.
Yeah, it hit the post and
Excuse
everything.
me. Hit the post 5 times, man.
Yeah.
So in this game, the way Bunny Shaw was like heading every possible ball off target, I was like, oh no, this is going to be one of those days for Man City. Um, but yeah, I mean, City looked comfortable for about 65 minutes. Like, um, you know, this is a game City would have probably lost in the last couple of seasons. They would have either drawn this game or lost this game because they lost their heads. But this is the kind of game that you have to, like, this is the kind of result you have to grind out if you want to win the league.
Yeah.
And City did exactly that. They were relentless and they had a belief about themselves. I also really liked the way Yegler sort of set them up to press high, but also sit back a little bit. I think I mentioned this in the live. I felt like Chelsea are forcing the issue too much. Sometimes what you need to do is also let the opposition have the ball a little bit
Yeah.
and maybe have them come forward. And I mean, of course, the Chelsea game was a bit different because they were already a goal up.
Yeah.
But with Leicester, obviously, like when they did have the ball, they did try to push up a little bit, which means space sort of opened up a little bit for Man City. And I thought that was really smart. And I want to sort of um, have a closer look at how Yeglerts does, like, has his team do this, against teams that are sitting in a mid block or a low block. That was really interesting, and obviously, like the substitutes made a massive difference. Clinton is back fit, and Carolyn obviously comes and gets that goal as well. But yeah, those two players caused like all sorts of problems for Leicester. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the goal that they eventually did concede, I really felt bad for Borrell because like that goal comes from like an error from her. She misjudges the flight of the ball, and
Oh
then
no.
like I mean you can't do that when Bunny Shaw's right behind you.
Yeah.
So still, it was a great defensive performance from Leicester. They again had 11 interceptions, 8 blocks, and 58 clearances. And Leipzig was, I mean, they kept. I mean, she kept them in the game till 75 minutes. So I'm impressed with Man City. I mean, they're 6 points clear. They're playing well. They look like a group that sort of believes in themselves. We've always questioned City's mentality, and I feel like this is. I mean, in my head, the title race is over,
Yeah.
but that could be because I'm just a pessimistic Chelsea
I
fan.
mean, it's not
But
over. You all you need to do is beat City. I can see like even though people are like, "Oh, City are never going to drop points." I can see like shock loss to any like mid-table team like Brighton, LCL, Spurs, Villa, anyone. I mean, not Spurs, not against City, but like everybody else against City. I can see it happen. Or even like they still have to play Arsenal again. They still have to play
yeah,
United again. It's still
yeah, I
possible.
know, but that's the thing, right? Like we also have to play Arsenal, United, and City again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I think City has to go away to United as well as Arsenal.
yeah,
So both like tough things to do. But the point is not just that City are going to draw points.
yeah.
Definitely, there's no doubt about it. But the question is, can Chelsea or United from here on out, or Arsenal from here on out, have an
Hey,
absolutely like
Arsenal cannot
spotless
be
record?
added to this
Sorry,
equation.
and Spurs, and Spurs.
Yeah. No, I would argue it the other way around that Arsenal cannot be added to this equation because then Spurs would have to be considered, and definitely Spurs can't do it. So,
Can't be
so,
considered.
so sorry, no
Where is
Arsenal.
this faith in your team? I'm just checking. I mean, Chelsea are 6 points behind City, and Arsenal are 8 points behind City. So, I mean, it's
Eight
not
points
it's
is a
not
lot of
that big of a.
points.
Honestly, 6 points in the like 6 points in the Premier League. I feel like that's definitely going to change.
Yeah,
But 6 points in the WSL is just it's
yeah.
just so hard
It's
to.
so hard to like
Um,
eclipse.
yeah, honestly, City have set themselves up really well.
Yeah.
They just
Come on,
need to
City.
yeah, all they need to do is they don't like. they just need to ensure that they don't drop like silly points.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
like they have a squad enough to sort of,
Get past
yeah,
like
get
games
through
like
it.
Leicester.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Ash, let's move on to Spurs versus Villa, because I mean, when I saw that Villa had scored against Spurs after going a player down, I was like, wow, the mighty Tottenham Hotspur
Yeah, yeah.
are crumbling. Because obviously I didn't watch this game; I was watching the other game. But um, Ash, obviously a late winner, very exciting. Spurs beating Villa 2-1. Like Kirsty Hansen scored in the 84th minute. Wow, all of this happened so late.
Yeah, it was
Kirsty
very
Hansen scored in the
late.
84th minute. It's like the football match started in the last 5 minutes.
It really did.
Like, sorry, Hansen scored in the 84th minute, England scored in the 85th minute, and Olivia Holt scoring in the 95th minute. Wow, that is exciting stuff. Ash, tell me about this game, no?
I was I was happy with this game from the minute the lineup came out. I will admit that I couldn't watch it live because I was doing other things, so I had to watch it after I already knew the results. So I was happy to begin with when I watched this game. But even like when I saw the lineup before the game had started, I was at the minute I saw Beth England is starting. Beth England is our best player. She is like far and away the best player on that pitch in this game. Okay, irrespective of which like whether it's Villa or Spurs, and we were pressing from the front. I was, all the games this season, I have been slightly worried about Spurs because I have felt like it's been close victories. The goals haven't been coming. There have been all of these doubts in my mind whether this is form or whether it was some sort of new manager bounce that went on for a little longer than it generally does. And people will figure out the way Martin Hope plays, and then that will come to an end. But this game really gave me confidence because in this game, Spurs were the better team for the entirety of a 90-minute period. Like, I'm not saying Aston Villa didn't in the first half didn't have any like half chances or anything. There were two or three times on the counter that Villa managed. Like Hansen, for example, had one miss, and so they did definitely get in. And Arroyo had them set up for speed, where it was just like Salmon and Hansen starting up top, I think, and they were going through us centrally, and I think that was a really bad idea because as it is we have Summerin and Spence, who are defenders extraordinaire. Plus Molly
Yeah,
Bartrip was back, and I love Toko Koga, I do, but Molly Bartrip is still Molly Bartrip, and
yeah,
she also helps with a little bit of fluidity in the midfield because she definitely has the ball playing skills to be a midfielder as well.
yeah.
So
Also, can I just on that point? I was just thinking. I mean, how far we've come. Like, I'm guessing the centre back pairing was Bartlett and Hunt, right?
yeah, yeah, it was.
The fact that Hunt has retained, I mean, of course, Koga is a younger player, so like, this is not an insult to Koga, but the fact that like Hunt has retained her position, because I remember there was a point when Hunt was like the weakest link in your
Yeah,
backline,
yeah.
and now like that's quite some growth, and yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's also, I think, a side preference. I think Koga plays on the left like Bartrip does. So I
right,
think, as in, yeah, left as Bartrip does. So I think it might be a little bit of a side preference as well. Like Bartrip and Koga are adjustable, and then Hunt is there for Hunt.
mm,
Uh, um, so coming back to this, I'm just even in the first half, we had more of the possession for sure, but we had clear cut chances. It is a different thing that we did not score them. Okay,
mm,
Nas missed a sitter. Um, England also missed one opportunity. There were a few opportunities, and Spurs had the best chances. Like Villa did create two chances, but the Spurs chances were far and away the better chances, and Spurs were far and away the better team, even when it was 11 on 11. Because I think the speed thing was not working against Spurs, not because we were sitting back or anything, but because our midfield was in control. Like in this game, I don't think there was any point of time, even when Villa had the ball, when our midfield was not in control, except for this one counter in the first half. Um, and so, credit to Simran and Spence, and also because England was pressing from the front. The whole team was sort of galvanized by England's presence because Villa just could not get the ball out of their half because of England. She just made a menace of herself, and everybody else gets like energized to make a menace of themselves. So Drew Spence follows, and like on the wings, you have like Winberg following and Nas following. Nas had an amazing game. I am still critical of Nas. Let's put the injury side right now for now, but I'm still critical of the fact that Naz is not able to convert her opportunities because I do feel like a forward is judged on their GA to some extent.
Yeah.
But her movement was amazing. She was just tearing down that right? Like she was just like going, like cutting through Villa like butter. And all of the opportunities were coming from Naz's side. And like Ash Neville was also credit to her providing defensive cover, which she does so well. And so Naz had just like the full ability to just bomb forward and do just that. So
Yeah.
she was it's sublime to watch when she does it right, and she was putting in
Mm.
a lot of like really good balls into the box as well. So I was very impressed with Naz, and it's been a while since we've seen her like she has been steadily improving under Ho, don't get me wrong, but it's been a while since we've seen a performance from Naz where we would be like, that is the player I thought was gonna make it big, which is
Yeah.
what I had, were the expectations I had from Naz, especially when she got selected for England and etc. You know, um, it's very, very unfortunate that Naz got injured when she did, because when you put in a performance like that and you push yourself like that, it just feels like, this is the turning point. This could have been the
Yeah.
turning point for like Naz. All she needed was one or two goals here and there to get her confidence back, and it would have been like up and up from there. And
Yeah.
but unfortunately Nas got injured, and it looked really bad. I feel like it's an ACL. It looks like an ACL. We don't know yet for sure. um but if it is an ACL, and you could see that the team, even though they were doing tactical meeting on the side while Nas was being
Mm.
stretchered off, you could see that the team was agitated. And
Right.
within minutes of that, of course, we conceded. And we conceded outside the run of play. So I don't think
Mm.
it was just it was a goal that really came out of nothing. So credit to Villa for scoring that goal. Credit to Hansen for converting the few opportunities that Villa have got in this game. But
Mm.
after that, I feel like the whole team just woke up and was just like, what the hell? We have dominated this game. They are like down to 10 in the second half. How the hell are we 1-0 down? And
Yeah.
England just went on a tear, across into her, and she scored like that. Okay, so Neilton puts in a cross for England, and I swear it just like it's like the ball is fated to graze past the head of England and be directed into goal. It was
Yeah.
like it's so beautiful to watch when a player knows exactly how much to tilt their head just the tiny bit so the ball
Yeah.
just goes sweetly into the goal, and like with
Yeah.
neatly and sweetly. I love Beth England, and I love that goal. I just loved it so much. And uh, I, oh yes, we haven't talked about the red card. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place.
Oh, that's
It
okay.
was such a stupid, like absolutely ridiculous foul. Okay. Delance, I think that's how you pronounce it. Um,
Delon. Yeah. I think it's
Delon.
French. Yeah.
Uh, Anyway, so it was the second yellow. And when you're on a yellow, and she went in late on Jess Naz, I mean, I don't think that her going in on Jess Nas had anything to do with the injury that happened later, like 10 minutes
Yeah,
later. But so it wasn't like dangerous play or anything, it was just late. But it was such a stupid thing to do because, like, it makes no sense when you're on a yellow to go in on a tackle like that on the halfway line. It's not like Nas is through in on goal and you're trying to like save
yeah,
your team or some shit. You could have stopped
yeah,
her like I understand also that Jess Nas is fast and that you might not have been able to catch up to her. But there are other players in your team, no. Like she's
yeah.
trying
You
to cross it
trust
in.
the other player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you have a goalkeeper also. So like it just made no sense to me whatsoever to go in like that late, especially if you're on a yellow. And I'm guessing that Arroyo would have in 10 minutes or so replaced you anyway because you were on a yellow. So,
yeah,
it just it was absolute stupidity. Villa deserved to lose this game. They did not play with any sort of vision that would suggest to me that they wanted to win this game. I'm not saying it was like a
mm,
Spurs like dominance or anything like that. I
yeah.
do think both teams had their moments. I just feel uh, like Spurs showed that they deserve to be where they are on the table in this game.
Yeah, you know what? This is what I've been saying about, like, of course, again, not to take anything away from Spurs, obviously, and I did not watch this match either. But this is what I was saying when we were doing our preview,
Yeah,
that like I don't trust Villa in games like this.
yeah,
Like in like playing teams around them on the table, I feel like they've not like given a good account of themselves. So that's something that they need to sort out. Like I don't know what it is, what's going wrong. Like, if um is it the entire team, not just the squad but also the staff, who are putting extra effort into like big games, like say
yeah,
playing a Chelsea or an Arsenal or whatever, and or if it's like a player's mentality thing, or if there's too much pressure to win, and therefore, like when the pressure is off, say you're playing against Arsenal, you play better.
yeah,
I'm not really. Maybe we should also have a look at like what the numbers look like as well. Sometimes um, the underlying numbers are good, but the performances are not like matching it,
yeah.
or what we see on the pitch is not matching it. So, or the results are not matching it. So, yeah, I think something we should probably have a look at. But yeah, cause for concern for Arroyo for sure, because I feel like they have enough in that squad. Like, I think that's a decent squad of players.
Yeah, I don't understand the logic. Like, you like look at who Spurs have as fullbacks. You have Neildon and you have Neville. Ash Neville is a great defender, but if you get past her, she can't catch up to you. And Neildon
Yeah.
is a great attacker, like a attacking fullback, but
Hmm.
not the best defensively. Like she there is a mistake or two to be had there, you know.
Yeah.
So and then on the Neildon side, you also have Hunt, who, as much as she has improved and Ho's way of playing is also suiting her, is still prone here and there to mistakes. And then you have Molly
Hmm.
Bartrip, who's coming back after a long time, so
Yeah.
longish. So there are mistakes to be had there. Instead of focusing on going in centrally with two up top, where you had Hansen and Salmon go straight down the middle with Daly supplying them. It
Yeah.
just would have made so much more sense to try and stretch Spurs and create gaps in that back line, because that back
Hmm.
line is there to be had. If you were
Yeah.
to stretch the flanks and really like trouble Spurs on the ball, you could have easily put in a cross and had like someone like Daly score it.
I think
So
that's something I've noticed with Villa as well. Like a lot of the goals that they have scored comes from, like, somebody like a Hansen, a Grant, or a Salmon just carrying the ball into the box,
yeah,
like getting into like 1v1 situations and then scoring.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
see a lot of wide play from Villa. Like, you don't see a lot of crossing from them.
yeah. Yeah, so I do feel like that is a tactical mistake, especially when the strength, you don't pit yourself against the strength of the other team. Like the
Yeah.
strength of Spurs currently is their midfield, because we have two players in Summonin and Spence who are just defensively solid and really good at progressing the ball. I am a
Yeah.
little worried
Yeah.
about Summonin because she came out after halftime strapped up. So I don't know
Oh,
what's happening with that. But like if we
yeah.
lose her, we lose all our games. but
Yeah,
uh,
actually, I mean, Spence and Suvanan are, I mean, they're just such fun midfielders. They're like
yeah.
very no nonsense
Yeah,
midfielders.
yeah.
Love both of them.
And I will also credit Holt here. Holt has been improving every game, and Holt has been providing in every game and like quietly going about her job. And of course, she scored the winner. It was an amazing winner and all. But like more than that, the through balls that she's put in for Nas, the through balls that she's put in for England, there's a lot of vision there. You can clearly see like she's showing that she has creative elements to the game. She's kind of becoming the sort of player creatively that I thought Mete Oroth would be for us. And
Hmm.
so it's really great to see like Holt coming into her own in that sort of 10 role. And
Yeah,
of course, it helps that England is practically a fourth midfielder. But, irrespective, I thought and that's also why Spurs had such a strong midfield, because England is also a fourth midfielder. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that's something we've spoken about briefly. The fact that, like, in the last few years, you never really managed to nail down a 10
Yeah.
because you've tried Suman in there, you've tried Spence, and I think last season under Willaham, Spence did play that role quite a bit, and then you also had this England in the 10,
Yeah.
Martha Thomas in the 9. So
God
like
help
it's
us.
good to know that okay, Holt is somebody who is reliable and who's going to like start there
Yeah.
for Spurs.
Yeah.
Yes, let's look at the other North London club. Arsenal versus Liverpool finished 2-1. Olivia Smith scored in the 17th minute. BHA Olsen equalized in the 30th minute, and Black Stenius smashed in the winner in the 88th minute. Uh, Again, a tough day for Arsenal. It wasn't the easiest of games, bar for I think they kept saying on comms like it was a moment of magic from Olivia Smith, and it surely was. I mean, she kind of beat like four different players to take that shot. But Ash, what did you make of this game?
Okay, I think I'll start with Liverpool because I have much to say about Arsenal. So, at the starting of the season, we were wondering where the goals would come for Liverpool after Smith left, and the fact that they have like 10 injuries or something, and at least 7 or 8 of
Yeah,
those injuries are first team players. So, like, we now have an answer to that question. The answer is Beta Olsen. Like,
yeah.
uh, she scored, I think, consecutively in, I forget how many games. I think
Four goals in four
four
games.
goals in
Four
four
goals in
games.
4 games.
Yeah. So, like, this is where the goals are coming from. And like Liverpool just
Yeah.
have this one goal scorer, they should hold on to her for dear life now. Liverpool like fashioned that goal out of very little and managed
Yeah.
to convert their first real opportunity. Like that through ball from Enderby was a absolutely great one. But Olsen still had like a had to deal with both Arsenal centre backs, and like she was slightly ahead of them, but she still had to like if she had taken even one more touch, it would have been too late. So like quick touch, shoot, very like great instincts there, and so kudos, and the run as well was absolutely like perfect. So
Yeah.
kudos to her and Liverpool for making good on their minimal opportunities. Um, I will say this about Liverpool. And we do have to praise Arsenal, of course, for winning this game. But Liverpool in the second half, so in the first half, Arsenal came out. For the first 20-25 minutes, Arsenal were absolutely dominant. Like they were running, like even though they hadn't scored until the 17th minute, they were kind of running ragged on over Liverpool for most of that 17 minutes. It's they didn't have any like even in the first 2-3 minutes Manam had an opportunity, etc. It wasn't clear cut, but there were definitely opportunities there to be had. um,
Yeah.
so Arsenal had a great start to the game. And then Smith literally took on like four players. And this is the reason Arsenal need Olivia Smith to succeed at Arsenal, because there is nobody else in the Arsenal team that can do what Olivia Smith does. Because like I compare it to Ford, who came on later. Like Ford will go out wide and then cross the ball in, and we're very familiar with the fact that Arsenal are cross merchants. Like cross
Yeah.
after cross after cross, that may not result in anything.
Yeah,
But
Ford is like a, I feel like it's like a two-trick pony. One is like cross,
yeah,
or the other is she'll dribble to like near the touchline and she sort of like
yeah,
dribble
yeah,
inside, take the player on, and
yeah.
maybe try to cut inside and shoot with her right. So yeah, there's not a lot there for sure.
Whereas, like sometimes when you're dealing with like a low block like this, you need the player, like a player like Olivia Smith, who can get you a goal from nothing. Like take four players on, produce a moment of magic, and score. I think Olivia Smith, like other people are really good on the ball, really good at passing. You have a lot of technically gifted players in Arsenal, like Caldente, like Russo. They're excellent footballers. But the skill that Olivia Smith has, in terms of both her pace and her ability to get past people, is something that she does better than possibly everybody else at Arsenal. And I think she that is why you need her to succeed, because it's a profile that nobody else has in the team, and it'll get you goals in difficult situations, and that's why you
Yeah.
need her to do well if you're an Arsenal fan. um, but yeah, so moment of madness. But I will say this: after that, Liverpool, for a brief moment of time, even before the Olsen goal, managed to come back into the game, because what they did was they stopped sitting so deep after Arsenal scored. They sort of like moved up a little bit, moved into the midfield. It was like a mid block sort of situation. So the battle for the ball is now happening in the midfield, and Arsenal are not just peppering Liverpool with shot after shot in going deeper and
Yeah.
deeper. Now, I would have argued that after Olsen got the goal and you did that, and you kept doing that until the end of the first half, you should have continued doing that in the second half. Except that Liverpool came out in the second half and just got deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. There was no attempt made at coming out a little bit and sort of like relieving the pressure. And in such cases, I feel like it's inevitable that Arsenal will score. And but I will say this: while Liverpool were really deep, they were not compact. And
Hmm.
that I think was a real problem, because there were definitely gaps in that back line. You know, uh, Constantly you could see through balls coming in from Mariona, coming in from Russo, and they kept finding Stina. And
Yeah.
uh, this is the magic of someone like Stina Blackstenius. Of course, Kai, I know you joke that Stina needs three goal scoring opportunities to score one goal. But the thing is,
Yeah. 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 I
but
mean,
the
it's like three offsides minimum, four
yeah.
chances minimum to score one goal.
Yeah, but the thing is, the fact that Liverpool gave her the three opportunities is
I mean,
also,
what nonsense were they trying? Like, I understand. Like, obviously, Stina is like an easy prey for an offside trap,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, you don't even have to try. But do you remember how high the line was when she was in her own in her own half?
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
the Liverpool players, it was so stupid. Like, what do you guys think? Do you know where you are on the pitch?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
listen, it goes from bad to worse when the lino and the ref are like, oh, that's offside actually.
yeah,
Uh, when she was in her own half, it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I mean, like you said, to be fair to Liverpool, they did. I'm not saying that they didn't come out to play. Okay, like they did try the Gareth Taylor style. They did maintain the high line, but I'm saying that when
Yeah.
Arsenal was pressuring them, their heads would drop and they would fall too deep, but not deep
Hmm.
and compact, deep and still stretched
Yeah.
out, attempting to go on the counter, which is fine. But the thing is, you have to realize who you're playing against also, and the fact that you have
Yeah.
10 injuries and all of that non jazz, like um so yeah, I did feel like Arsenal definitely were the better team in this game.
Yeah.
definitely dominated this game. Um, I also feel like uh, Mariona has shown us in this game that she has defense, like her defensive ability has improved. Have you noticed this? Like there were a few stray crosses offensively where there was this one like diagonal ball to, I feel like it was Ford or somebody, and it was like very wild. Like you wouldn't see
Huh.
Mariona Caldente pass like that. So
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
in attack, Caldente may not have had her best day, but she put
I
in her
believe
block defensively.
on the comms they called it a collectible item when
Oh,
Mariona
oh yes,
misplaced
yes,
that
yes,
part.
yes. I remember this.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but like defensively, she put in two or three blocks. She had attack. I think she at one point recovered the ball, got it back into possession, put it back into play in her own box. And so I am very surprised to see this side of Mariona because even for Spain, I'm sure they'll be happy to see that because they do currently lack a CDM.
Hmm.
like
God, can we not make Mariona into a CD? That's just criminal. I'm sorry. The girl defends for a day and you're like, oh, put her as center back. What nonsense. No,
I'm
but
saying that it's
something that really stood out for me in this game
yeah.
was Mariona's pace. Like, I did not ever think of Mariona as a fast
Oh,
player.
did you see her centrally like run in? Oh my
Yeah,
god, that
that's
was
what.
so much fun. I
I was
Mariona.
like, wait, why doesn't Mariona carry the ball forward more if she has the space? Like, I had no idea listen, I don't know who she was running against. I don't know what the pace
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
other player is. Like, I
Yeah.
don't, like, this is all relative, right? Like, my eye test could it for all we care. But, like, she seemed pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's the kind of player who has the ability in short bursts to outrun her opponent. Like I don't think
Yeah.
she's fast. I think that she's fast with the ball in her at her feet for short bursts. And I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
got it. Yeah.
that's also a skill that's important to have. I mean, that's also why she's able to play winger and chinger and put her anywhere and she'll play. No.
Finger. Yeah.
Like I swear Mariona apart from defender can play anywhere.
Yeah,
I
Aishwarya manager Ash will put Mariona
yeah,
as a
yeah,
center back.
yeah. Let's clone
Um,
her and have six Marionas in a team.
yeah,
Anyway, um, yeah. So that's all I really have to say about Arsenal. Honestly, they
yeah.
did a good job. They got the job done. Aneka Bor, what's her name? Aneka Borke.
Borba,
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 okay,
Borba.
came
Good.
in as Arsenal goalkeeper.
Yeah,
It was. I think Arsenal need a goalkeeper. They might go in.
yeah. I mean, like Borba doesn't seem like an elite goalkeeper, and obviously Van Domselaar. Hopefully, she'll come back when it matters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they just need to ride out this December with Anaka Borba, and well, good luck to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Speaking of goalkeepers, do you remember that back pass from Hannah Silcock that fake Kirby just picked up?
Oh yeah.
That was so that was so funny. Like
Yeah. Don't
I'm
make
just
me
like,
laugh. I have a
and the
cough.
funniest thing, no, same here. I mean, I will also cough thinking about it, but you know, like Hannah Silcock's reaction was the best.
Oh
She kicks it
God.
back and she goes like, "No, why did you pick it up?" And then like ref is like, "Nah, nah, that's not a back pass. Let's keep going." Just
Oh my God.
horrifying, man. It was so funny. I was like, like it's not even like the ref, like the, there is a world where the ref is positioned in such a way that she doesn't see Silcock making that back pass because it kind of hits her foot, kind of.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
like
yeah.
a very light touch, but she sees it, and she sees it, and she's just like,
Ain't
okay, keep
nothing wrong
playing, let's
there.
go.
No.
Yeah, nah, nah, nah. And Silcock is like, why did you pick it up? Wild, man, wild
Oh my
shit.
God. Anyway, uh, moving on. We have LCL versus Brighton, which ended 0-1 to Brighton. Seke scored in the 6th minute. That's all that happened. I suppose.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
a
mean,
lot happened.
this was from what I've heard online. This was an absolute riot. This game was lots of fun. I thought it would
It
be
was a
fun.
lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I was watching this game along with Man City, I think,
Yeah,
and I mean, both the games are really funny in that there were a lot of stoppages.
yeah.
Like Man City, in the Man City game, Miedema went down, and then Eriksdottir had to be subbed out, and a lot of even in this game there was a lot of stoppages. People just like falling everywhere. But yeah, I think it was an end-to-end game for the most part until you hit about like 70 minutes when Brighton were like, okay, we won and up. Let's try and shut shop here and just like try to take 3 points
Yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Obviously, they uh, get a chance to go 2-0 up with a penalty, an error from, I think it was from Sangare, and obviously like Lette makes that. It was a great save, by the way. The penalty itself was okay, but the save, I feel like it was going towards the bottom corner from Haley, and yeah, really like Lette committed to a side and she delivered. So obviously she kept them in the game. Same can be said for Nandozi. She is amazing goalkeeper. I have to talk about this moment. Like she is the ultimate sweeper keeper in the league, to the extent that I'm sure Brighton fans just like want to die when she's sweeper keepering because so this person, right? Like there's a through ball. I think Goodwin is trying to get to it, but then Nadozi goes away from the post to her right hand side, exits the box, right? She is in like a 50-50 with Goodwin. Like instead of kicking the ball out for a corner, she shields the ball from Goodwin, who is a big player, mind you. She shields the ball from Goodwin and she sees it out. And I'm like, this person is not normal in her head. I'm sorry, but like keepers are weird, man. Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
Goalkeepers are not normal people. But I mean, listen, we've seen some of these moments from Nandozi, and most of them sort of pay off. I
Yeah.
can't think of too many. Like she at least like backs herself, and yeah,
Yeah.
she comes out with the end products, and therefore we can't question her too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so in this game, I listen. London City Lionesses had a lot of the ball, but
Yeah.
I feel like they had a few chances, but I can't think of like too many. Like there were like two clear cut chances which
Yeah.
they absolutely should have scored. But apart from that, there was a lot of crossing, cutbacks that went to nobody, or and like credit to Brighton as well. The back line like defended with a lot of gusto. Like they were full on throwing bodies on the line, like just doing a lot of like there are a lot of people on the floor. A lot is my point through the game. It's flashing through my mind, and like people I can only see like yellow shirts on the floor. So that happened quite a bit, but I actually feel like Brighton created the better of the chances because they didn't have a lot of the ball. They were playing a bit on the counter,
Yeah.
and I really am liking this look of Seike playing as a nine. She does have the pace. She. I feel like she's probably the most. If you take Fran Kirby out, who didn't start, she probably is the most clinical player Brighton has in front of goal. So yeah, I'm really liking the look of that. But see, the reality is also that like London City Lionesses should have at least scored one goal. I'm sure
Yeah.
they're kicking themselves because this is a big win for Brighton. Like they've closed the gap, and they're just 1 point behind London City Lionesses.
Yeah.
And hey, they're playing Chelsea next, so
I reckon
you
Brighton
never know.
eclipsed them. Definitely. Like, I think it's.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think Brighton eclipsed LCL.
I think Vidosic has come up with something that's working for Brighton.
Yeah.
But that said, I can only see LCL being on the ascendancy from here,
Yeah,
if that
January is
makes sense.
coming and they have all the money in the world, also. No.
I honestly don't think LCL should buy anybody. They should
Yeah.
deal with the players that they've already bought.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think, yeah, I think it's going to be close between these two teams for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Ash, United versus West Ham. We've been talking for quite some time. Obviously, finished 2-1 to United. Elizabeth Erlin scored in 37th minute. Shakira Martinez equalized in the 53rd minute. And Janssen scored from a wonderful free kick in the 71st minute.
Yeah, so
What thoughts?
this game was the best goals of the weekend. All of the three goals in this game were quality. I think personally, to date in this season, I think the Martinez goal has been my favorite goal of the season. So
Ooh.
I feel like it might possibly be one of the contenders for best goal of the season. It was like a almost bicycle kick. Like it wasn't
Hmm.
like she was flying or anything, but she was back turned to goal, uh, lofting ball over her head, blind, and
Right.
it goes into the goal. So very athletic effort. It was lots of fun to watch, and like watch out world, Shakira Martinez is on a purple patch. you
Oh,
know
I feel like she needs to feel the winter air to
yeah.
start her purple
Yeah,
patch.
yeah, yeah. It has happened. It has definitely happened for West Ham, and I'm sure that they're
Oh.
uh, they're licking their lips at the prospect. I really thought that both teams played well, but lacked cutting edge. Like I thought
Hmm.
I I was really impressed by how good West Ham were, because they did not start the season very well, but the last couple of games, I genuinely feel like they have figured their shit out just a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah.
It I think helps that Shakira Martinez is in form, but
Hmm.
Asai also had a really good game, and you know. Ueki has been exceptional. Ueki for the last couple of games, last 3 or 4 games, Ueki has just been like creative mastermind, and it is
Yeah.
very nice to see. And of course, West Ham play on the counter, and she doesn't get a lot of chances to show that aspect of her game. But it's just some of the through balls, some of the balls that she put in for Martinez, etc. I did feel like Ueki kind of like bossed it a little bit in the
Hmm.
United box. And Katrina Gori looked really comfortable on the ball. It's been a while since I've noticed Katrina Gori have like a really good performance. And I think she's so vital for them when she plays well. Of course, West Ham play well, so I'm looking forward to more of those. But I think West Ham can't be disappointed by the loss either, because they didn't really create enough to be disappointed. Like they didn't really create any big chances, they didn't miss any big chances. It wasn't like they'd feel hard done by for losing the game. United on the other hand created two really big chances and they missed one. So I think fair, and I think the result was a very fair one. So like and West Ham were like really compact and disciplined, as they should be in their ideal form, in their perfect form. But United definitely controlled this game overall, like in terms of possession, etc. I know, like during our live, Tualamba, who's a United fan, came on and said that that they weren't happy with the performance, but
Hmm.
but I felt like like if this is just a run of the mill game that United need to get past, because there are so many midweek fixtures, there's so much like effort that United have to put in. Otherwise, I think
Yeah, they're playing
sometimes,
Lyon next.
yeah, so I think sometimes it just makes sense to try with minimal energy to get past the your opponent, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
what they did. They got the job done. 2-1 is doesn't look bad when there are 3 points in the bag. Sandberg's cross for Turlin, I have to point out, for that Turlin goal, what a beautiful cross. Okay, absolutely perfect pitch perfect cross. Turlin just had to tap it in, like football perfect goal.
Hmm.
And Jan, that Janssen free kick, of course, you already mentioned it, chef's kiss. And she stepped up for it. She was like, I'm taking it. Like, and it was really nice to see, because sometimes, when the ball is in a position where like a player knows, they're like, I have done
Yeah.
this 1,000 times over. This is my kick to take, because I know I will put it in the back of the net, and then I do. Like,
Yeah.
it's wonderful to see moments like that in football. So yeah, definitely one of those things. I do worry a little bit about United. I mean, Talis Joyce is back, which is huge, and I think is a
Yeah.
big boost to them, especially before that Lyon game. But there just doesn't seem to be any energy or urgency in the way United are playing. Ziciotti looks tired. Tour doesn't feel like she's like Ueki has more creativity right now than Toon does. I'll
Right.
be honest. And like I do think Riviere was limping. So I feel like she's
Oh
carrying an
God.
injury. Because
I
we've
just,
been.
with Jade Riviere, like, sometimes I want to, like, put my money where my mouth is and just say, hey, Riviere is going to be the best fullback in the league this season.
Yeah.
But then I remember how, like, injury prone she is.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
so
i'm
annoying.
i am definitely worried about United, especially because there is a lot of competition for that third spot this season. um
Yeah.
uh like, obviously Arsenal is there, and Arsenal, I would argue that Arsenal are the favorites, actually, in terms of like quality of squad. Over United, I would argue Arsenal. So, like, definitely the third spot is between, like, United would have to really combat to keep that third spot and keep playing in the Champions League, unless they win the
Yeah.
Champions League, which I doubt. Um,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't put it past some of these mid-table teams to also contest for that third spot. Definitely Spurs, at least in the conversation. I'm not saying they're there, but like,
Yeah.
they're in the conversation. uh, there is yeah, so there are at least two or three teams there who would be very happy to take that third spot of United as they're playing the Champions League. We will see how Spurs contend with United in the League Cup in the quarterfinals, and then we will know for
Yeah.
sure. But Arsenal, I think, can very easily rip that spot from United. I think that is the most
Yeah.
likely outcome.
I think it's going to be. I mean, I am. Listen, as clear as City are, like it is a bit frustrating in some ways, right? Like, in the sense that, like, we are asking ourselves yet again, is the league already over in December? Like, is it decided in December?
Yeah.
That's like, if you set that aside, like, I think Riley mentioned this on our live, where she said, if our form continues like this, which is Chelsea's form continues like this, there is a chance of Chelsea, like, slipping out of the Champions League spots,
Yeah.
right? So a couple of bad, like, 2, 3 more bad games, and then it's really a question, like, a very proper challenge between, say, United and Chelsea, and even Arsenal and Spurs, to nail down that second and third spot. So
Yeah.
I think somebody tweeted today saying, Arsenal will finish above Chelsea in the league and still not win the league, which I thought was really funny.
I mean, I can see Arsenal finishing above Chelsea in the league. It's only a
Yeah,
2 point
absolutely.
difference. But
Exactly.
I do think that they can take some measure of respite from the fact that Spurs don't have the squad to compete in this equation. And
Yeah.
Arsenal then are the only team that you have to worry about to compete for that spot. So it's between United and Arsenal and Chelsea. So
Yeah.
and there
And
are two
I
spots.
honestly think, yeah, like, I mean, I mean, we were like, semi joking, I guess, about
Yeah,
Chelsea, but the reality is that if you look at all the squads, and the games coming up, right? Like, so what are the chances that Arsenal are probably going to have to play the playoffs in the Champions League? Chelsea might have to.
yeah.
United also will probably have to.
Oh,
So,
you know what would be funny?
hmm,
Chelsea drop out of the top three in the league and then win the
and win
Champions
the
League.
Champions League.
Yeah, four WSL teams
Wow.
then playing the Champions
Oh,
League.
yeah. But Yeah, that's the thing. So we basically sort of, if you look at the squads, I like United could potentially beef up their squad in January. I don't really see it happening to a big extent, but maybe even bringing in one or two players could do the trick. But
Yeah.
realistically, if you look at these three squads, I feel like United are probably at the risk of finishing fourth.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's all we have for you today. This was the review for Game Week 10. Lots to discuss. Hope it wasn't too long of an episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those wonderful things. And we will see you in our Arsenal versus FC20 watch along today. Bye bye for now.